afternoon, good evening, good morning, good anytime you happen to be tuning in to It's Naturally Not. Good to have you here, and I'm back to talk about what I've been talking about the past couple episodes has been appetizers, happy hours. I realized the other day when I was talking to a coworker that my ramaki, and Daniel confirmed this when we were talking on the phone, was very tiki themed, and I didn't even realize that, but it is, and that's amazing because I'm a huge tiki fan. I forgot to put up my tiki flag. I was going to put that behind me today, but I forgot. And ramaki is a tiki thing that was inspired, I think, by Trader Vic's when that whole thing started in Hollywood. I'm going to do some research on that and get back to you. But that whole culture behind tropical paradise and snacks, taking it easy, happy hour, surfing, you get the kind of vibe I'm talking about from the 50s, right? I've been really into that, and so is my sister. And in an upcoming video, I'm going to talk about making tiki boards, making boards in general, snacking, charcuterie boards, because they've been really big, I've noticed lately, and you can make them so much better for cheaper at home. But I'm going to talk about that more later. Today's snack for happy hour is going to be featured as spiced nuts. Okay? Originally, I came across this recipe. I think it was on Trish Yearwood's show. She had an uncle who made spiced nuts, and I thought that was yummy, and I made that years ago. But just here, not very long ago, I've reinvented this recipe once again and made it something totally different. So spiced nuts is a great cocktail snack that you can have with friends. You can have before dinner. You can have just sitting around bowls. It's any kind of Dakota. It's any kind of spiced, sugared nuts that you snack on. And that's what we're going to make today, and that you cook slowly in the oven, usually for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. This one takes 45 minutes. So what you're going to want, and then I've been better lately about putting up the recipes on the comments, and I'll try to remember to do that with this one. But as always, I go through the recipe ingredients in the beginning with you for the spiced nuts. You want 4 cups of nuts. What I think works best, and this is weird because I'm not even a big walnut fan, is mostly walnuts. So I've got about 3 cups of walnuts and 1 cup of almonds, but you want 4 cups. You don't want peanuts. They don't work well. You want almonds, cashews, or walnuts, or any kind of mix of that. Okay? They don't have to be raw. In fact, I don't know if these walnuts are raw, but these almonds are not. They're already baked or dried or however that it is once they're treated after they're raw once you buy them. 4 cups, and you're going to need a big bowl. Daniel got me this big bowl here for Christmas. Set of them, so I don't have to use my plastic bowls anymore. 1 egg, white only, whipped up by just me with a fork till frothy. And you're going to need the following seasonings. Now, this calls for 3 different seasonings that are kind of different here. It calls for cayenne pepper, which is more warm than hot when you think about it, cinnamon, and then it also calls for chili powder. Okay? I've never made it with just straight up chili powder. The recipe says to do it that way, but I've always put on this twist, and it's been pretty good, so I've stuck with it. So you'll want 1 tablespoon of chili powder if you're going to do it according to the original recipe. But what I use is a combination of chili powder, chipotle powder, and a little bit of ancho powder, going lightly on the chipotle because chipotle's hot, to make up 1 tablespoon. Because I think the chipotle gives it a little bit of bite. Cut back if you don't want it. Use just all straight up chili powder if you want. But I like mixing those 3 together. And you could even lobby for putting in smoked paprika. As you know, I put that in a lot of things. 2 teaspoons of this cayenne pepper for warmth. I cut that back for the first time this time. I'm only using a teaspoon and about 1/4. Okay? 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. And then here's another oddball ingredient. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay? That's what we're going to need for the spices of this spice nut dish. Okay? You're also going to need 2 cookie sheets licked with parchment paper set in the oven to preheat at 300. We got the eggs, we got the seasoning, and then we also need, what is this, 1 cup sugar? Yes, 3/4 a cup granulated white sugar. So let's go ahead and get started. As I said, I have the egg whites, there's only 1 egg white, whipped up here pretty nice. Then the instructions are for us to add the seasoning. Mix well. You might get a little sneezy with the cayenne. I'm going to switch over and get my my little mini doodad here, spatula. Then you're going to want to the sugar, and you're going to want the nuts. Now the bigger the bowl, the better. And I'm going to do this with my hands like Ina says, because this is going to stick eventually once the egg gets wrapped around each one of these nuts. So take your time with the egg white. If you sneeze, turn your head and sneeze, right? Because you got this cayenne in here. And you'll want to get it, use your hands to really rub it in there. Hopefully you don't have a small paper cut, because if you do, that's probably going to not feel so good. Really get it in there. Now I can feel it's absorbing with that egg white. It's kind of like when you're making Chex Mix. If you ever make homemade Chex Mix, you really want that buttery spice mix to get all over those Chex Mixes. And in any recipe you use, it says to mix well. That's what we're doing here. If you see a big pile of the seasonings, the sugar, salt, and the spices, it's still not adhering, you want to keep mixing. Eventually the egg white is going to mix pretty well. In fact, I think I've got it pretty mixed well. Woo! Makes your hands dirty. So you're going to want it, if you can see, I'll bring it in. Hopefully you can see how well I mix this. And I'm going to give my hands just a quick little rinse. And we're going to spread them on the sheets and put them in the oven. Again, you want a slow oven for this, 300 degrees, because you're not really baking anything. What you're doing is you're encrusting that seasoning into your nuts. Okay. I don't know if I'll need a whole 2, but we'll see. You want to spread it out pretty evenly, like you do when you're making Chex Mix. Or Chex Snacks, or whatever you call that yummy stuff. About like that. Can you see that? So I am going to need both of these sheets. Not a biggie. I figured I did. You can squeeze them onto one, but they might stick together once the sugar caramelized. There you go. See how I got all the seasoning out of the bowl? That's because it's on the nuts. I mixed it well. And in fact, I'm going to put a handful over here because I got one in over here. Ooh, that one's really covered well. Okay. Want to put these in the oven. Double checking my own recipe here. Bake for 45 minutes, and you can stir once halfway through. So you could set your alarm for halfway, or if you're fiddle farting in the kitchen, just halfway through. Stir them around a little bit with a wooden spoon and continue till you reach 45 minutes. So I'm going to put these in the oven and set my timer. There's 1. There's 2. "45 minutes. Get in my hands. One more quick wash here. They're pretty sticky. Now I have some pre-made, but I'll tell you what. These right out of the oven when they've slightly cooled are the bomb. They're good for, I would say, a month fresh. You really should keep them in something like a plastic Tupperware kind of thing. Maybe even in the bottom of your refrigerator or somewhere cool. But the ones that I have right here, I made some time ago. They're still good, but they're not fresh. During the holidays, putting them in something like this is fun. I've also mixed in here some Reese's peanut butter, the chips, and then some Reese's peanut butter peanut candies, as well as raisins and craisins in with these mixed nuts, and they're wonderful, wonderful. Or upcoming video is going to be on boards. Sprinkle them on one of your boards. I have so many boards. I'm going to do a video on finding a good board or boards for you, and I have many little ones. In fact, I just happened to see one of my little boards here. I forgot about it till just now. I have many little boards that scattering these nuts on look cute. Or these are some fun little 1950s Polynesian little cups served this way too with cocktails. Super yummy. I'm going to keep my eyes on those, pull them out, and I'm going to snack on some of them. Make this recipe. Get out there on that patio, or if you like your cats to be with you, on the catio. Pour yourself a drink or a good iced tea, lemonade. Make these spicy, not too spicy, but a little spicy, salty, fun, sweet nuts, and enjoy yourself. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.